welcome to the Fireside Chat. 86.5 The
The
Vibe.
vibe.
Welcome back. It's your boy Jackie C,
And shade
the leader of the Shady Gang, the shadiest gang east
east
of
of
the
the
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Also the CEO of Shady Gang Enterprises, Shady Gang Incorporated, and Shady Gang International.
Shady Gang Entertainment and the like.
You'll be able to buy stock in it soon, don't worry.
Very.
It'll be a
On
penny
Robinhood.
stock, but it's on the way up. It'll be on the way up. That being said,
Those pink slips
Shade,
are how you get big.
Shade, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready for our two sentence horrors.
Two
What I'm
sentence
really
horror.
looking forward to
I'm
today.
looking forward to that too. I'm doing well myself. I, folks, I want to tell you, start setting a bedtime and make sure you get your proper sleep. It's gonna catch up to you. It's gonna aid. You're older, you will thank you. I promise you. That's the only thing I can say about my wellness is I'm super tired. But outside of that, it's honestly a pleasure to be alive. It always is. It's
A
a pleasure to be
pleasure to
breathing.
be alive. That's
If
nice
you
to
think
hear.
about it, most people aren't. Most people
Yeah,
are
no, that's
under.
a big
Most
statement.
people at one point, like they were on the earth, and now they're not anymore, and they're wherever. And there's 7 billion of us here that get the pleasure of being alive at this time.
No, you're not wrong. That's a beautiful way of saying it, Jay.
Thank you, buddy. That being said, I hear you have a beautiful two-sentence horror for us. Spooky
Beautiful is
season.
a overstatement. Actually, you haven't heard this one. I decided to make it a surprise. I told you it was going to be one, but it's not.
Yeah,
So,
so I haven't told the people. I guess I should tell them. The producers did. I've never been benched a day in my life. That's probably because I didn't make the team. But the producers told me I'm being benched on Two Cents Horror. They say that Shade is the man. Shade is gonna take care of it, and I'm sure y'all are about to love this. You go rock it.
you know it. Well, so this is more of a multiple sentence story, but it's still short. I'll keep it short, keep it brief. Tell me how you like this one. So, my daughter woke me around 11:50 last night. My wife and I had picked her up from her friend Sally's birthday party, brought her home, and put her to bed. My wife went into the bedroom to read while I fell asleep, watching the Braves game. Daddy, she whispered, tugging on my shirt sleeve, guess how old I'm going to be next month? I don't know, sweetie, I said as I slipped on my glasses. How old? She smiled and held up four fingers. It's 7:30 now. My wife and I have been up with her for almost 8 hours, and she still refuses to tell us where she got them.
Oh wow. Oh, that's that's really good.
Yeah, right?
I like that. That was clever. Beautiful. So today, I wanted to challenge you guys, and I think I'll challenge you as well, Shape. I want you to think of two things you really liked about today. This is a little bit different than what you're grateful
Okay.
for, because some people would say I'm grateful for my friends or my family or the roof over my head. I'm asking you to be very specific about two things that occurred today
Huh.
that you liked.
All right. Well, okay, you know what? So today is Friday, at least for us in this time area of the world. Um, on Fridays, I have a student that is very learned in music theory. We've been working together for at least the past like year and a half, 2 years. And every time we get together, we explore new musical concepts. And it's always, I don't know, it's revelating for me because it allows me an opportunity to really explore teaching at a much more in depth, kind of high class, almost like college level, essentially. And for me, that's always really nice. Like, I don't know, it kind of reinforces in me not only do I know what I'm talking about, but I can help other people reach that same understanding. And for me, that's always just a beautiful moment. And we had another. another lesson today that was just, I mean, as we usually do, but just fantastic. Where we kind of, well, we dove into basically how do you compose music for films, but it was great. And then otherwise, I had a fantastic practice with my band today. We're getting ready for a Halloween show coming up on, well, specifically Halloween, October 31st at Moe's Peyton Place in Springfield if you're interested. But yeah, we've been kind of going over, various things like whether we're doing our cover songs or even like things like the Monster Mash or like Superstition, different things like that. And everybody's doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciated that today. That was a good part of today.
That's cool. I think I think my the two things I liked about today was the first was my Chipotle bowl.
Chipotle bowl.
No, you all have to think. A lot of y'all are probably like, oh, ho, ho, that's funny. No, food has the opportunity to change and impact like your entire day. Like you could go like without eating or have a bad meal, or have to wait forever for your food, and suddenly like you're in a bad mood. But at the same time, it has the power to turn your day around. Like I didn't eat during the school day today, so I ate after school at like 3, and it was the first time I had eaten all day. And just the way the bowl hit, like it's beautiful. Every time I eat, I think to myself like the taste and stuff. I'm not like a I don't know if you all saw Ratatouille, but all the different taste combinations that come together, it's really something that's beautiful about being alive. And then today I also went on a little walk at night, and during the pandemic, one thing that's occurred a lot is less car traffic, and because of that, less pollution. And so seeing, the moon and the stars and how beautiful like the night was, the
Yeah.
temperature was right, the feeling on it, just like I said, it make you happy to be alive. And I really do believe like if you look at the little things, your food, or even the gift of sight, like everything that you're seeing, I think you definitely find something to be happy about. So I would challenge you on that one. That being said, our producers want us to announce we're going to have a debate episode tomorrow. We're going to go over both town halls, uh, the things that were similar, the things that were different, and the things that stay the same. Speaking of the things that stay the same, the news item of the day is Hunter Biden's laptop. So if I was making a Venn diagram with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I would put in the center that they're both corrupt. Hunter Biden, I guess, introduced his dad, Ukrainian president, all that good stuff. I encourage you all to look it up and read it because there's a lot to like everything on the laptop, and it is an unfortunate invasion of privacy. I will say that much too. But yes, I would definitely put corrupt in there. But the one thing I would say is like I don't know Trump personally, but from the way, and obviously the way he carries himself publicly is more likely than not just an act. But one thing I will say about Joe Biden is his son on his laptop had texted his dad. Hunter Biden texted Joe, and he said, I'm a messed up addict who can't be trusted. Just leave me behind. And his dad replied, "Good morning, my beautiful son. I miss and I love you, Dad." And it was just, he said, when you can and you feel like it, you can call me. Positive, my text, etc. Target, I love you. And so it's really, it's really a beautiful thing to see, like Joe Biden said on that debate stage, that's my son. I love him and I'm proud of him. I don't mean to be a sucker, but I don't know how you feel, Shade.
No, I completely agree.
So yeah, I would encourage you all to look into the lab. There's a lot to it. There's, some light moments, there's some moments that raise question marks and make us scratch our heads. But no, Hunter Biden was meeting with folks in Ukraine, and Donald Trump Jr. was meeting folks, Russian folks in America. So one way or another, corruption is in the Venn diagram, it's smack in the center. Smack in the center. That being said, Shade, we got an interesting poli sci question I wanted to ask you.
Okay. Absolutely.
Should people who spread COVID be charged with a crime?
Ooh. Good question. Honestly, I have to say, so anytime it comes to a law, anytime it comes to justice, it is highly dependent. It depends on the situation. Is it malicious intent? Do you know that you have COVID? Do you know you are like you have symptoms, you're showing symptoms, and you're going to a public place, not social distancing, and you don't have a mask? Like, are you knowingly spreading COVID? Like, are you attacking people? Because at that point, it's assault. Or are you, just trying to get your last meal? Or or not last meal, that's a little bit of an overstatement, but trying to get, like, some food. You're social distancing, you're wearing a mask, you're just at the store because you absolutely need to get some cold medicine, some ibuprofen, and some freaking chicken soup. And you're just like, look, I am trying to stay away. I'm trying to stay alive. And, like, I just can't afford to go to the hospital right now, because that's not really malicious intent. Like, you're not assaulting anyone, you're just trying to stay alive. And I mean, honestly, at that point you really need to go to the hospital. If you know that you're showing symptoms of having COVID-19, you need to go to the hospital. That's end all be all what you need to do. But I don't think that everybody deserves to be charged with a crime. It kind of depends more on, like, well, what are you doing? How much of a danger are you being? And do you know what it is that you're doing? I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I would agree with you. It has a lot to do with intent. But even then, I question, and I understand COVID isn't like a normal disease, but I just question, like the flu, or like when like stuff like that goes around. Like, nobody's ever been charged with assault or anything for that, and folks have gone around, they've known they've been sick and spreaded it, and the flu kills people too. And so I guess I would be curious to know if there's ever anybody who's been charged for spreading the flu to somebody, and then not or charged or maybe sued, um, for
Well,
spreading the flu to somebody. That's one thing I will say.
I would
You could
imagine that,
possibly, I would say you could possibly be sued, especially like intent.
right. That's exactly what I was about to say. I would imagine, like, especially if, someone is, like, let's say OCD, and you, like, sneeze on all of their stuff, for example. Like, that's assault. You know that that's something that's going to emotionally screw with them, like, and I would imagine, even if that's never been a ruling, if that's something that anyone has ever done, that's a suable offense. That's a form of assault.
You
I
think
would say.
so?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're basically, it's
Sneezing, wait, sneezing
emotional.
around them or sneezing on them?
Oh, no, I was saying sneezing on all their stuff. Like, if you come into their office and just or like start licking all of their supplies, for example, knowing that they're, like, scrupulous, that they're OCD, and that they need everything to be super clean. Like, they're a germaphobe. Like, if you knew that about a person and you just start intentionally being like, I'm gonna germ up all your stuff, like, I would say that's assault.
Well, I would say that assault is like a physical thing on one's person. So
Or their
I would maybe
stuff.
argue.
A physical assault, okay, maybe it's
I was
vandalism
just
at
about to
that
say
point.
maybe vandalism was what I was gonna say, but But even then, I would argue more so. Being a jerk
Well,
isn't
but
necessarily against the
so
law,
actually, you know
unfortunately.
what? Spreading germs onto their stuff is a physical assault on their person because they have to touch their stuff.
So, would you be then in favor of folks who spreading diseases intentionally? Like you send your
If
kid
it's
to school,
intentional, I think
you
you
send
should
your
be.
kid to school and you know they're sick. I
If
mean, how
you
many times that
know
happened
that
when we
they're
were
sick,
kids? Our parents would be in jail, both of them,
yeah,
all of
they
our
would.
parents. Like,
But you know what? You can't send your kids to school when they're sick. You can't do that. You're screwing everything up, man. You're making other people sick. It's not cool.
no, it's definitely not. I think in these COVID times, we're beginning to look at disease in a new light.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. Well, no, yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to get sick.
Because I was going to say 2 years ago, I don't think this would ever be a discussion.
No,
You want
never,
to sue me
never.
because I made you sick? What? Like,
Yeah,
crazy
I know
stuff.
it is kind of crazy.
And then, like, the way the
But
flu
it's
goes around in
again, it's
schools,
about the
like.
intention. It's not so much just because you made me sick,
So,
but because you tried to make me sick. Like
so
that's
what
awful.
if there's no ill
That's
intention?
biological warfare, if you ask me.
What if there's no ill intention? What if there's negligence? Would you charge them with that?
Negligence is a different story.
Like blatant, like sending your kid to school
Maybe
while they're
you,
sick. You didn't mean to get everybody sick.
maybe
Like
there should be levels. Maybe there should be levels. You should just be fined for getting everybody sick accidentally.
that's not a bad one. I might be able to. I think maybe the vast majority of Americans will go with that. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's not
you're
so
gonna have to
bad.
be fined. Like, we don't know. But even then, like, I would say, like, you how do you know who and where you got like contact tracing is like this new thing that we're struggling with to this day. Like they have like this app they want you to download in Virginia that like on your phone, and so like my phone and your phone come near each other, we were in contact, and then it'll see like how close our phones were, and so if I get sick it'll
I
notify
don't like
you.
that at all.
Well, that's my point, is they're trying all these ways to contact trace, and it's like, how are you going to say you got it from me and maybe I got it from you? Or maybe like if everybody like in your school gets sick, who was flu patient number one? Like when we look back like at like, you know, like schools and stuff. Like when we were in school and the flu would go around, we never knew who patient one was. The flu was just there. Like as far as I'm concerned, somebody breathed it in the air or something. Like it just the flu was a bird and it just flew by, and I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
No, I mean for sure. I'm sure in like smaller towns that's less of an issue. I'm sure you could probably even trace it back to the original person, maybe even in a small town depending on how small. But I mean,
The towns you don't want to be in when the sun goes down. Like,
yeah, that's right. But no, for real, like you're absolutely right. It's pretty hard to contact trace at this point. But even without that, I think it's pretty important to at least deter people from sending people into public places that are sick. And if that means fining them, I think that would be a good course of action.
yeah, I just like I said, I would wonder how, like in practice, it would one hold up in court, and two, I would wonder how it would. And most of our laws are like this, but disproportionately affect uh, people of lower income and as well as people of color.
It probably would disproportionately affect people of lower income because they probably have fewer options but to go to places unknowingly carrying a virus of some sort.
The lacking the health care. You might have, you know, two parents working who can't, you know, take a day off of their job. They had to send them to school for the child care.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I wonder how I wonder how it would, and then not even just that really, because that's like how it would work in theory, but I'm talking about like in legal theory. In practice, you would have somebody wealthy who gets a great lawyer that's like, well, how do you know like this person da da da? Where did I get it from? Do you trace it all the way back to the first person in do you trace it all the way back to the first person in China that caught it? Shade. Do you trace it all the way back to the people in China who had it?
You can't trace it all the way back to the people in China who had it.
So that's
It's
that's my
impossible.
point. Is so you're gonna get in trouble for me, and I'm gonna get in trouble for you because to be fair, it's occurring because people are going out with it. In a lot of cases, they don't know they have it or they're showing symptoms, but symptoms are things like a lot of the symptoms are common allergies. Like, how often do you sneeze or have a runny nose or cough, tired eyes? You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I feel like legally, like a good lawyer would go in there and be like, "Come on now, this is," and then the jury be sympathetic. But if you don't have the money for a good lawyer, I feel like you'd probably be in a lot of trouble.
That's a pretty good point. I mean, it would be pretty hard to prove like anything, and I mean, at this point right now, it's all kind of speculation. Our science isn't really good enough to really do that. I would say it would have to be only under the rulings of without a shadow of a doubt you got these people sick, and that's like the only way that it could ever be done, which I think would probably be more few and far between as
It
far
would
as people
be
goes.
well, like I said, definitely for wealthier folks with the lawyers to defend them, and because being charged with a crime is one thing, but the actual like conviction, like even traffic tickets, you can fight those in court. I wouldn't. I don't have the money for all that. I just unfortunately pay the ticket and be mad. But let me ask you this then, in regards to holding people accountable for the spread of disease, should the United States government and the governments of the rest of the world hold China accountable for patient one?
But we don't really know who patient one is.
I I think they do, but even if they don't, we do know it started in China and it spread to every nation in the world. And China is in itself and as a country patient number one. So should we, like the governments of the world, should we hold China accountable? And if we do, how?
So that's the problem: is how do you hold an entire nation that has nothing to do with you accountable for anything?
Tariffs. Everybody
I mean, these are all just
a
like,
root tariff on Chinese goods.
yes, yeah, sure, you could like punish them, but like, I mean, at that point, what are you really doing that's not just like political? That's not really holding them accountable for causing COVID. It's just trying to change the economy. It's
Well, no, I would argue you're setting a precedent that when a pandemic like this, when it has the potential to spread, that you as a nation, whichever nation is responsible for it, you have a obligation to contain it and notify other nations because China waited to notify people before it spreads.
but like they didn't really know what to do. Was totally new. I mean, I don't blame them for not handling it correctly
Well, they had
because
precedent from the Spanish flu. As a matter of fact, it's crazy that history is just repeating itself, literally.
sure they had precedent from the Spanish flu, but who is alive from the Spanish flu right now that's in power in China?
Well, that's the importance of learning your history. It repeats itself, and you have to learn your
Yeah,
lessons
but you
from
know
it.
what? I can't. I
And
can't.
so The
I
Spanish flu is the same concept.
I can't punish people just because they're foolish.
Well, didn't you just say you wanted to punish people for being foolish with the?
No, I said specifically I didn't want people who were just being foolish to get punished. I said
Okay, so
people who had
it's got to
malicious
be
intent.
malicious. Okay, and you don't think China had malicious intent?
I don't think China had malicious intent. I think they screwed up.
More likely than not. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Probably. I think. Let me ask you this: what about the concept that they screwed up on purpose so they can be the first ones to make a vaccine?
Now,
Because let's
that would
be
be very
clear,
different.
whichever country
At
makes a
that
working
point,
vaccine first has propelled themselves to a new level and stage as far as like world leadership goes.
and at that point, we would call that biological warfare.
So, what would your response be?
Well, that's obviously wrong. We have an entire convention against that exact topic. You cannot attack an entire world, nation, anything using a disease for your own personal gain. That's biological
No,
warfare.
I agree. I agree. But I'm with you. I think the Chinese. I think that as with most people, we heard coronavirus and it was like hardy har har, and then like it started spreading and killing people, and you started seeing like celebrities and stuff like that. You're like, oh, this is real. Like I think my school closed on March 13th, and I think I had heard about it like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, but I didn't even start wearing a mask until it was mandated to in Virginia. I think they said they made the law like starting in like May. It was like May 10th. So like for like 6 weeks into the pandemic, I wasn't wearing a mask. But so yeah, I would argue I agree with you. More likely than not, the Chinese just the science came and it came too late. The Chinese are listening now, and that's why they've recovered much better than we have. So is the whole world. So that being said, Shade, we got a virtual dating plus topic as well.
Great, my favorite topic.
Your favorite marshmallow to roast. I hope you roast it well. We've been roasting a few marshmallows well tonight.
Indeed.
I like their responses to the challenge. I really hope you guys do that challenge at home. 2 days or two things you liked about today. Maybe do two things you liked about yesterday too. Just a thought. That being said, our virtual dating plus topic: how to know if she's jerking you around.
Oh.
Which
Oh.
I guess, to be fair, you could turn that around and make that, uh, how to know if you're being jerked around. That way,
Yeah,
it's
right.
not.
Anybody is
Yeah, I
being
was gonna say
jerked
it's not
around.
exclusive to anybody.
Right. I'll make it unisex. That's for sure. No, that's a really good question. How do you know if you're being jerked around? Well, there are some obvious ones and there's some less obvious understandings that I would kind of want to touch on. The first one that would be, well, if they don't seem genuinely interested in you, and honestly, it's again, you know it when you see it kind of a thing. Like, if they are more interested in their phone, if they're more interested in their friend, if they're more interested in themselves, if they're more interested in anything that's not really actually spending time with you, you're kind of seeing someone showing their true colors at that point. You're seeing someone who is trying to show you this is what they are interested in, is not you. And yeah, at that point you're kind of being jerked around. Some other ideas. Anytime that that you go anywhere and they have to call all the shots. They make every single decision. It almost seems as though nothing that you think, no opinions that you have, really seem to matter. It's really everything is about kind of them. At that point, honestly, you're being jerked around. you're kind of being led on in not the regular way, not in the they're trying to lead you into some kind of trap, but more so in the they're just trying to kind of get all of their desires out of you, which is another form of kind of leading on. It's a little bit different than the regular. But both happen. Other things, things that are less obvious, let's even talk about. So, people that get directly out of a relationship, we often refer to this as the rebound idea. When they just get out of a relationship, they're very sensitive. They're very, confused even sometimes, or they just want to be, either held or they want to be understood. They want to be listened to, this or that, anything really. But they're in a place where they seem like they're receptive to, like, emotional understanding. They seem like they're receptive to maybe even someone new, because they're really honestly emotionally very raw. They're kind of fragile in a way, so all their emotions are bubbling to the top, and they may even seem and say and do so many things that seem as though, yes, I love you, I want to be with you. But the reality is, in their mind, they are still trying to pick themselves up. They're still putting themselves back together. So if you know in any way, hey, this person has just gotten out of a relationship, but they're trying to be with me, I'm not saying that they're absolutely leading you on, that they're jerking you around, but you might want to wait. You might want to get to know them first. Wait until they feel stable within themselves before jumping on doing anything with them. And you want to even explain to them, most likely, like, hey, I know you just got out of a relationship. Things are hard when you just got out of a relationship. I understand that. I am actually interested in you, but I don't want to do anything with you until you're feeling okay within yourself.
No rebounds.
Yeah, no rebounds. I don't know. Do you have any maybe that you tend to kind of see, Jay?
Um, I agree with everything you said. I think I hate virtual dating plus. I really
You
do.
hate virtual dating plus?
No, I do. A lot of y'all are probably like, really? No. I just, in the words of Bill Clinton, keep it simple, stupid. If you feel like you're being jerked around, you're probably being jerked around. And there's everything that we could tell you are things that you, like, for example, like, oh, they take forever to text back. Well, what do they do for a living? Are they a doctor or
That's why
something
I
of
didn't
that nature,
mention that one. That's very
or like
circumstantial.
a or like do they cancel dates, canceling hangouts?
Again,
I was gonna
circumstantial.
say, so I would say keep it simple. You know if you're being used. Like you brought up on cheating. You talked about how like a lot of your relationships had come from that, and nobody was using anybody there, right?
I don't know how to answer that question. I hope not. I hope.
I was like, I hope you just say no, but that's my point. Is like with all of like the things like to quote unquote look out for, it is all circumstantial. It's one of those things where look at your circumstances. If you feel like you're being used, you're probably being used. If you look at your circumstances and you don't feel like you're being used, you're probably not being used. I hate to
I don't
give
know
bad
if that's
advice.
true.
I hate to give bad advice, but that's 100% the truth. Like that's 100% the truth.
I I
I
will
can't think of
honestly have
I
to
can't think
disagree with
of
you
I
there.
can't think of any way to know that you're definitively being jerked around that's not circumstantial.
That's fair.
And so you personally have to look at your circumstances and make a decision for yourself. Keep it simple.
Yeah,
If
but
you feel like you're being let me tell
you
you
could be
something. If you feel
wrong.
like you're being jerked around, you're not getting what you need from the relationship in the first place. Keep it simple
Yeah,
and move
but
on.
you know what? You could be getting jerked around and not be aware of it. And I think that that's what the question is really about: is how do you know when you're getting jerked around when you are not aware of it?
Wouldn't you have some type of question mark to ask the question in the first place? Like, I feel kind of like it
Not
wouldn't be like.
necessarily.
I mean,
What
I
if
don't
you're
think
in the
you'd be
happiest
walking around.
relationship of your life and you're going, oh man, but wait, what if this is all fake? And you just want some reassurance that it's not. Like,
I can't give you reassurance on your relationships, guys. We don't know you. We
it's
don't know
true.
you. Like
It's
that's
true.
why I say virtual dating plus just makes me mad sometimes. Like it does. Like how to tell if she's jerky around? I don't know. Like I was gonna say
Well,
I
that's
was talking
why
to a
they
nurse.
ask me.
I was gonna say I was talking to a nurse, and at one point, and like she couldn't text as often as the next person could. I didn't think she was jerking me around, but then if you have someone else who's text you back, 5, 6, I don't know, 7 times a day, whatever, like I said, I just feel like if you feel like you're being jerked around, you're probably not getting what you need.
It definitely helps to have deductive reasoning, like knowing that a nurse is not probably going to text as much as someone who doesn't have a job. like,
Yeah, like yeah,
you
I
know,
was gonna say no. Yep, having like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know your circumstances. Like, am I being jerked around? Like, how many times has the person canceled? What's the person's occupation where maybe they have to cancel on you? Or like what if they're in school and they have a job, right? And they're busy all the time and they're like, "Oh man, I wanted to hang out, but I got to put my schoolwork first." And so they keep canceling on you. Think about it, Shade. You're in that situation. Super busy. Band
yeah,
practices, all that. You might not be jerking her around. You might really like her. It's all about the circumstances. It's
yeah.
all about
No, it's true. If I were to
we gotta
date
figure
someone,
out
I'd probably have like 10 minutes a day for him.
I was gonna say you gotta use your own you gotta use your best brain. And you gotta have faith. And like I said, if you're happy in the relationship, you're happy in the relationship. Don't ask unnecessary questions and make yourself unhappy.
yeah,
There's no
that's
reason.
fair.
I've asked a lot of unnecessary questions and made myself unhappy with my unnecessary answers that I really didn't need. And so, if you feel like you're being jerked around, you're not getting what you need. If you're just asking to ask, don't ask to ask. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't like if you're happy in your relationship, be happy in your relationship.
I think that's a great note to end on for our virtual dating plus. I'd like to move on to a horror recommendation, actually, for our Spooktober specials.
Spooktober.
Yeah. so,
Spooky sheesh.
this week I'd actually like to recommend a classic. So, my personal favorite horror franchise of all time, and you have to kind of like the gore a little bit to get into it, but is Hellraiser. If you watch the first and the second Hellraiser, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it is an artistic take on the idea of demons and, well, basically hell, if you will. But it's kind of blurring the lines between pain and pleasure, giving us an understanding of what it really means to be in hell in a totally different way. It also has a lot of very, I would say, kind of gory scenes. So if you're into the whole shock value, it's got that going on too. Um, and with that, I think we also have the rundown tonight.
The rundown. No, no. Tonight it's the no huddle.
Oh,
College
it's the
football.
no huddle.
Tomorrow's college game day. Y'all know I'm a big hypocrite because I'm talking all this trash about the NCAA and still watching every single game. I'm mad about it. Like, Shade, I'm pissed off. I came home that one time and turned my TV on, and it just so happened to be on the Florida game. And I'm disgusted with myself. I watched all day, and I've been watching all day every Saturday since. I'm mad. The no huddle, though. So, Billie Eyelash was
Eilish.
Billie Eyelash, as in, I don't
She
know.
has eyelashes. Like,
She's got some eye. I was gonna say everybody has some eyelashes. Billie Eyelash, her she got body shamed. Um,
oh no.
she and the reason that it's news is because she specifically wears baggy clothes so
Yeah, I
people
know.
don't talk about her body. And the one time she did, like, homegirl can't even go to the pool. Like, I don't think she
What
even goes to the
happened?
pool,
Where
or
where did she go to get body shamed?
she just walked out of her house. I think she was getting like the mail or something.
What did they say?
People said terrible. I think one of the top things said about her was like she has a like 30-year-old wine mom body or something.
A wine mom body.
And I was like,
No.
it's really a shame people can't just like it's a shame people can't just let people live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In the sense, like, you don't, one, when it comes to attraction, you don't have to be attracted to everybody. So if there's somebody who's not attractive to you, there's no reason to tell them that. And then, yeah, I really don't know what to say.
I mean, yeah,
It's incredibly disappointing.
you're at where you're at, man. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you're trying to get on like, a health journey, please, absolutely do exactly that. But, like people shouldn't be shamed for how they look. Like
Yeah, like, and then, like, I understand, like, if you want, like, your boy to get in shape or something, you're like, hey, man, like, you getting out of shape, you should come with me with the gym, blah, blah, blah. Like, health. I understand, like, if you're looking into, like, the health of the person. Like, you and
yeah,
I started talking, like, about working
exactly.
out, drinking water, the health. Like, and, but it's a difference between just, like, wanting better for a person, just criticizing them to criticize them. And it's like everybody, it's like as a kid, you learned all these rules, and as an adult, you found out that adults are just hypocrites. Big, giant hypocrites. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That was a
Yep.
big thing when we were a kid, and it's like, dang, I'm an adult now, and I just see, like, folks don't have anything nice to say these days. It's almost
Nope.
like you're a kid. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. If you're or if you don't have any, yeah. And then if you're an adult, it's like if you don't have anything mean to say, don't say anything at all.
I know.
Like keep it to
It's
your. Like, if you have something
backwards.
positive, if you have something nice to say, keep it to yourself. Like
Yeah. No, it's
the
sad.
hippie. Um, Amy Cooper was charged. Amy
With
Cooper
what?
is the. That's an excellent question. What did they charge her with? Probably filing a false 911 report. She was the one shit know the guy was recording her, and all he did was ask her to put her dog on a leash, and she was like, I'm going to call the police and tell them you're assaulting me.
Yeah.
And the whole time he was recording her, he was like, ma'am, I just asked you to put your dog on a leash, da da da. And she was foolish.
Yep.
She was. And they I'm frustrated with her being charged because they said that her punishment is more likely than not she's gonna have to like take a class
Wow.
to learn about how that's harmful. It's like
Wow.
you don't think she
It's
knew how
like an
that was harmful when
ignorance
she dialed
class.
911 when
Yeah.
she said blacks don't have the right to tell me what to do.
Now, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, like, oh, you're gonna learn. It was really, really harmful, Amy Cooper. Like, she knew. I say I say lock her up for attempted homicide, honestly. If you have like a really liberal DA, I would say, yeah, you called the cops on someone black talking about they're assaulting me help. Like, and then they have their phone in their hand, and you already know a phone in the hand is in the police is just a situation waiting to happen.
Yep.
She should be charged with attempted murder and thrown in jail. Like, I don't mean to, take an extra, fiery standpoint, but the truth is, she needs to spend time in jail. That's extra malicious.
It is.
That is super malicious. And whether you're black or white, like, it's malicious. Like, it's saying something false about somebody. And so yeah, baseball. The Dodgers won tonight, Shade.
You know
They
it.
staved off elimination. The Astros are cheating again. As a matter of fact, the Astros went down 3-0 and now it's tied 3-3. They literally started cheating again, and now they're going to win the World Series.
Yep.
You heard it here first. If the Astros continue to win like this, especially if they continue to win without losing, they're all a bunch of cheaters. I'm mad. I'm extra mad that the Astros have a better chance to win the World Series right now, seemingly so, than the LA Dodgers. Astros aren't the better team, but the Dodgers, they're down 3-2. They have to get through Max Fried pitching. Unfortunately, Clayton Kershaw got blown up last night. Blown up. It's ugly stuff. Baseball is frustrating. It's a very frustrating sport. Georgia and Alabama tomorrow. You wouldn't believe it. Shade, Nick Saban has COVID.
No.
Yep, and I was listening to the Paul Feinbaum show. It's this show where they folks call in, like they're SEC viewers, so it's a bunch of like Southern folks talking. And I'm mad they've had like whole mask debates on the show. Like whether his mask was adequate or not. Somebody was like, well, like a mask just don't protect you from COVID. There's no point in wearing a mask. Paul Feinbaum was like, well, I'm just excited for the day. Like he's like a TV personality, he has like an ESPN contract. He can't be doing all that foolishness. He said, well, I just look forward to the day I don't have to wear a mask, and hung up on the person. It's so silly. The Florida game was also canceled.
Oh, really?
Because of COVID, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oddly enough, a reporter broke the story, a student from the school newspaper. The school had tried to say that they only had 5 COVID cases. And homegirl goes,
Oh, my God.
no, you have 19. And the AP came in and confirmed it. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. This was after Dan Mullen said that, he wanted the stands packed. He wanted a sellout crowd at his next home game.
Oh, my God.
Governor Ron DeSantis is with it. Like, y'all in Florida, have fun. Like,
Yeah, jeez.
I really don't know what to tell you. Speaking of having
That
fun,
is not safe at all.
you all know how we always end. Shade, if you could play the music for me.
You got it.
Well, guys, here we are. Another week down, another week you conquered. You always knew you were going to be here. Now you get the whole weekend. Rest, relax, spend it with family. Have a beer. Do what you must. But take care of yourself. Do the things you need to put a smile not just on your face, but on your mind, your heart, and your soul. And with that being said, it's your boy Jackie C.
And Shade.
This is 86.5 The Vibe. It's your favorite chat. Thanks for joining us at the Fireside. Y'all have a wonderful night.